Chill out that H+III+T, it's a boot that dang on time. Yo, moment of full transparency. I was thinking about doing this like the summer, where it's like a video on Wednesday, and that's like all y'all get for the week, just to make sure that I don't run out of content ideas. But you know, so something kind of interesting happened. I was signing up for summer classes, which is now online because, you know, and I got a little email talking about a bill, and I forgot you have to pay for classes, and you know, all of a sudden I was like, I guess y'all getting 2 videos a week, but that's not here or there. Listen, y'all know I don't be thirsty like this, but if you could hit the thumbs up button, that would be much appreciated. The kid has got to find a way to pay for summer classes. I completely forgot you have to pay for classes and there's no more live streams. I kind of had this budgeted out, and now my life is like mentally and financially out of sync. So if y'all can help the kid out by just hitting the like button. But that's not here or there. Today we are talking about what the job happened to the homie Ignas Brazdeikis. And if I'm saying his name wrong, it's because we never saw him on the court. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking with it, gosh dang it. I cannot, you know, before we get into the full-on rant, play the intro. Okay, now let me get this out the way. Las Buenos, son. Okay. Now I want you to turn this up. And we ain't playing no games anymore. Okay. Backpack full of artillery. Shots fired, chest line, literally. I ain't even gotta remind you, but okay, killing them. Yeah, I line you. Backpack full of artillery. Shots fired, chest shot, literally. I ain't even gotta remind you, but okay, killing them. Yeah, I line you. Same people that despise you, cover up lies and I don't think sinister is the right word. I don't think mishandled is the right word. I don't think lack of true development is the right word. When Fizdale was in charge, nothing surprised me. When things were just going lefter than 2020, nothing really surprised me. I wasn't in shock that Iggy wasn't getting proper minutes. Fizdale was hyper obsessed with saving his record and such as far as wins and losses, because all of a sudden it mattered this year. Let's not forget the mentality that we went into this season with. So nothing surprised me in the Fizdale era. But when we gave that man the proverbial boot, gosh dang it, and we brought in Mike Miller, who was our G League coach, where Iggy had been for a good bit of the season up until that point, I thought it was a boot that dang on time. Especially with Kevin Knox not getting as many minutes and not quite shining, and them not playing trio for some reason. I thought this was a perfect opportunity. Yes, Marcus Morris was playing well. Well, that's not fair. Playing great. I'll go ahead and say it. He was playing great. I mean, there was a lack of a legitimate backup. Because remember, we didn't get the homie Sandra Bullock back until the beginning of this year, I believe. I'm not really quite sure. So it was a thick minute before we had a legitimate 3 coming off of the bench to substitute in for Marcus Morris. And I thought with the addition, well, not the addition, but with the acquisition, if you will, or the call-up, no pun intended, of Mr. Mike Miller, that we would see Iggy come through and get some shine. With the season technically being over, and forgive me for being overly critical of this team, especially in these dark times, gosh dang it, but someone's got to do it, I'm sorry. And I'm going to have to be this guy for a good bit of the offseason, because the Knicks have to be held accountable for a bunch of the things that they dropped the ball on, especially because the season was practically over to begin with. What, we were down to 18 more games? We're going to have a conversation about Trier and Dotson and all that. But Jesus Christ, what happened to Iggy? What did we draft that man for if we weren't going to let him freaking play? And again, this is so much more than our constant play the kids narrative that we did with Trier and Dotson and at some points Frankie and Kevin and all that, gosh dang it. Even sometimes with Mitchell. Remember, Mitchell Robinson wasn't starting. They still had Taj Gibson starting before they shut the season down. We're talking about someone who wasn't even with the team. I would venture to say Kadeem Allen played more minutes than Iggy. And it's not like Iggy was trash. Iggy was in the G League balling.
balling. Now, am I a responsible content creator? No. Am I going to be the dude who's going to pull up the stats and say, well, Iggy was averaging? No, I'm not that guy. Go watch someone else. But to my knowledge, Iggy was killing it in the G League. So what the jive happened? And again, what was the point of drafting him if we're not going to let him play? They really dropped the ball on that one. They didn't even give him a chance. And I just don't understand that. I know we were kind of split down the middle. Of some of us were under the assumption that this was another year of tanking. This was phase 2 or part 2. Some of y'all kind of felt that way. I know Dark Matter felt that way. Some of y'all felt that way. Gosh dang it. I think DX felt that way too, but that's not here or there. And I get that. But the other half of us were on board with the idea of, yo, even if we're trying to be competitive, it was Operation Tank for Zion. Now, we didn't get that man. We ended up with RJ Barrett. But just like how the season prior, we got Kevin Knox in the first round, and the homie Mitchell Robinson in the second round, and we saw how we implemented him and all that foolishness and what he turned into. I gotta say, was last year the 17-win season? I think it was. After an entire season where it was common knowledge we were tanking for draft picks, how do you not play the draft picks? And again, this is more than the Trier narrative. Iggy literally didn't play. So what the jive were we tanking for? And I really want to hammer that home. We can joke, we can meme about, oh, Trier didn't get a chance, Dotson, he really didn't get in his, blah, blah, blah. Iggy literally did not play. So when, from game number 2, because y'all ignored me, and y'all talk trash about me in the preseason like you always do, talk trash about me in the summer league like you always do, when I sit there and tell y'all this is going to be a rough year, they're still not playing defense. Oh, Sever is too early. Sever is the preseason. Y'all do that every year. And if there is another season, I guarantee you'll do it again. When I sit there and say, y'all, they're still not playing defense, we're in for a rough year. But when y'all threw in the towel in like game number 5, when I think we were like 1-4, y'all already started with the shenanigans. Oh, let's get LaMelo. Oh, Cole, blah, blah, blah. Ask yourself this. Have the Knicks, this current regime, shown you in any capacity that tanking is beneficial for us? We can draft whatever player you want, but if they're not going to freaking play them, if we're going to continue to have seasons where Taj Gibson starts over Mitchell Robinson, if we're going to keep having this carousel of point guards, of veteran point guards, we're going to play over people we draft or young players we trade and acquire. What makes you think tanking for draft picks is going to assist us in any way possible? I love Elfrid Payton. I do. Clear bias. I have acknowledged that many times on camera. But I also said on multiple occasions, why is he still starting? Just let Frankie go out there. Who cares at this point? As much as I started to lose faith with Dennis Smith Jr., why do we take the time to acquire this man and then re-sign that man if you're not going to let him play? When he got healthy again and he was ready to come back, ignoring the concussion protocol every now and again, he was getting DNPs. What'd you re-sign him for if you're not going to let him play? I don't mean to come across super negative. I'm just genuinely concerned. There's been a lot of years where we haven't really played our youth, and it's been concerning. But Iggy literally didn't play. We did a video last off-season comparing who was going to be a better scorer, Iggy or Trier. Jesus Christ, who would have thought we'd be here a couple months later? Let me know your thoughts down below. Does anybody follow the Westchester Knicks? Does anybody know what specifically Iggy was doing? Was there any glaring weaknesses in his game to warrant him not playing at all? Again, Kadeem Allen was getting minutes over that man. Somebody tell me, please. Because I can't believe the Knicks dropped the ball like that. It'd be one thing if he was riding the bench, but that man didn't even play, literally. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I miss the Knicks too, but sometimes it's like, do I really? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts down below, and pretty please, can I have a like? See y'all Tuesday, man.